Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we are diving into a filing from Plug Power, and let's just say after looking at this report you may want to plug your ears to avoid hearing their stock price. We are covering their proxy statement filled with proposals on things like increasing the number of available shares and a potential reverse stock split and a lot more, so let's get into it. Before we get started, if you like understanding what's really going on with these companies, make sure you subscribe. Also, join our Discord community. There's a link in the description below. First, let's look at the message from Plug Power to its investors. It acknowledges that the current environment is challenging and is concentrating its resources on material handling, electrolyzers, and hydrogen supply. They have partnerships with big names like Walmart, Amazon, and Home Depot for material handling, and are making headway with electrolyzer production in their New York gigafactory, and is scaling hydrogen production across multiple plants in multiple states. So the company seems optimistic about its core segments and is working to strengthen its position in a difficult market. Now, let's get into the details of this proxy statement. A proxy statement is what a company sends to its shareholders before an annual meeting so they can make informed decisions about important company matters. This is from Plug Power to invite stockholders to their 2025 annual meeting, which will be held virtually. One of the main items is electing 3 Class 2 directors to the board, each to serve until the 2028 annual meeting. After the proxy will be used to vote for the re-election of 3 current directors: Mark Bonney, Gregory Canausis, and George McNamee. Another key proposal is an amendment to the company's charter to increase the number of authorized shares of common stock, a request to jump from 1.5 billion to 3 billion shares. Then we have the approval of an amendment to the company's charter to, at the discretion of the board, effect a reverse stock split. They could take every 5 shares and turn it into 1, or every 200 shares and turn it into 1, depending on what the board decides is best for this proposal. It is worth mentioning that the company issued a special series of mirroring preferred stock to their CEO, Andrew Marsh, to help ensure the proposal is approved. This preferred stock will vote in the same proportion as common stockholders vote on the matter. Proposal 4 is about changing the rules around how they can increase or decrease the number of shares. They want to make it so they don't need separate votes from each class of stock, regardless of what the Delaware law says. Next up, they want to amend the charter to protect officers from being personally liable for certain breaches of duty. Another proposal is to increase the number of shares available under their stock option and incentive plan by 40 million shares. This brings the total from 51.4 million to 91.4 million shares. Stockholders will get to vote on a non-binding advisory vote regarding the compensation of the company's top executives. Finally, they want stockholders to ratify the appointment of Deloitte and Touche LL as their independent registered public accounting firm for 2025. The document urges all shareholders to vote and points out that it is very important as most of their shareholder base are retail investors who typically don't vote as much. It also names who is on the board and each of its committees and who is considered independent as well. Let's take a quick look at the Audit Committee report. It's a standard overview confirming they did their job overseeing the company's finances and internal controls, but it's always good to see it in writing. Alright, now let's quickly look at the independent auditor fees, meaning how much they paid Deloitte and Touche. Audit fees, $5.2 million, about the same as last year. Audit-related fees, 4,013 audit-related fees, 400K, about the same as last year. Kai, basically negligible, ton of nothing too crazy here. Just the typical cost of doing business. Here is an interesting section, the compensation discussion and analysis. That's how the company explains its executive compensation program. They are using this section to discuss concerns about underwater equity awards and the bonus program UT. What are underwater and to what are underwater planned moving forward. And they acknowledge that last year's Say on Pay vote got around 78% approval, which is good. It also stated that they met with some of their investors to discuss concerns about underwater equity awards and the bonus program, not like task bonus to promote short-term strategic and business goals, long-term equity incentive compensation. What are underwater equity awards and the bonus program? In it, what are underwater equity awards and the bonus program? Trouble, what are underwater equity awards? Basically that the price that you can buy a stock at is higher than its price on the open market, meaning incentive compensation to drive long-term stockholder. Alright, let's check out the numbers. Here are some key compensations for some of the executives. Andrew Marsh went from $750,000 to $800,000 to $500,000 to $500,000 to Paul Middleton went from $400,000 to $600,000. Their bonuses were tied to company performance metrics like gross margin, cash usage, revenue, and plant construction. However, the actual performance didn't hit the marks, resulting in zero bonus payouts for most, except for Mr. Middleton and Mr. Fullerton, whose bonuses were guaranteed through employment agreements. Andrew Marsh got Sanjay Shrestha, got zero. Sanjay Shrestha got zero to Paul Middleton, got $600,000 guaranteed. Quindarad Conway Jr. got zero. $20,000 guaranteed. Cledarad Conway Jr. got zero. They also granted long-term equity awards in the form of stock options. Half of these were performance-based, requiring the stock to hit a certain price, and the other half were based on time. It is worth mentioning that the company lowered the hurdle for their CEO, Chief Operations Officer, and General Counsel, but not others, for some equity awards. If there is a change of control, a sale of the company, the vesting is accelerated, meaning executives will get their equity faster. The company has stock ownership guidelines, meaning they encourage their board of directors and officers to hold company stock, and they can't hedge or pledge company stock, meaning they can't bet against the stock. Here's a look at their equity compensation plan. As of the end of last year, they had about 38.7 million shares that could be issued from outstanding options and other rights. Oxen now, let's zoom out and put Plug Power into perspective. Plug Power is in a rapidly evolving sector, so they're facing the challenge of scaling infrastructure and navigating economic uncertainties. They've got solid partnerships and are expanding their hydrogen production, so that's a good sign. But those missed bonus targets due to not achieving metrics, along with the lowered requirements for some executive equity awards, does raise questions about execution and performance expectations. The proposed reverse stock split is a big move, seemingly aimed at attracting institutional investors, and boosting the stock price does not increase accordingly. There could be reduction in market capitalization, which we don't want. So overall, Plug Power is at a crucial juncture. They have potential in a growing market, but it really hinges on Plug Power executing their plans and showing real profitability. Alright, that's our breakdown of Plug Power's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.